What's up, y'all? I'm Diamond from the Loc Doc Lab, and today I'm collabing with HOTBRAIDS to show you my complete lock extension installation from start to finish. Let's get into it. Hey Loc Stars, so you know I'm always looking for quality products for my clients. So today we're going to open up these lock extensions from HOTBRAIDS. First off, I love the packaging that it comes in. It comes in a nice satin bag to keep the hair protected. So let's see what's inside. I love that they send you the tools for the install. There's a 0.5, 3-point needle, and 2-point needle inside. And let's look at the lock extensions. So already I can feel that the texture is really good. It's very soft, very natural. I love that the lock extensions come pre-fluffed because that makes it easier for a seamless install, and we always want the install to be seamless. The goal is to never be able to tell that they're lock extensions. We always want the natural look. So yes, I love these. The texture's soft. I love that they're the same size all the way through. These are 0.6 size, and this is 90 locks. So thank you so much, HOTBRAIDS, for sending these over. You all know that I'm always, as a loctician, quality and a luxury experience is top priority for me. So make sure you're following along for the install. Thank you. Every successful lock extension installation starts with the foundation, and the foundation is the parting. So let's get into how I section my client's hair and why that step is so important. Before I install any lock extension, I always start with a clean parting pattern. Why? Because the foundation is the entire install. A good parting pattern not only makes the style look cleaner, but it also affects how lock extensions lay naturally and how they look as they grow out. There are a few ways and parting patterns that you can use. You have square parts, brick lay parts, diamond parts, C-shaped parts, and even freestyling parts depending on the look your client wants. For this client, I chose a brick lay pattern, or I would say more square pattern, because it gives a fuller look and a more natural appearance. And it also, for me, I like the square parts because it makes your locks look full no matter how many you have. So as long as the locks are looking full, whether you have 50 to 90, I installed 82 locks on this client. But it looks extremely full, and you'll see the results at the end. And then another thing I pay attention to is the size of each section. The size of your parts are extremely important. Why? Because it makes for when the lock extensions grow out, that there's a healthy connection, seamless connection from your natural lock beginning to form all the way into the lock extension. The size of your parts should always match the thickness of the lock extension. These lock extensions are size 0.6. If your part is too big for the extension, the lock won't have the support that it needs. And if it's too small, it can create unnecessary tension on the client's scalp, but also it can create weak parts within the connection from the natural lock to the actual lock extension. Every client is different, so I customize the parting based on their hair density, the size they're requesting, and the overall finished look they're going for. Taking the extra time here really makes a huge difference because you want to make sure all of your parts are the same exact size. So I always go through and pre-part every section before I even start to reattach. I don't part and then reattach. I find that it is a seamless install from start to finish when you actually pre-part every section to make sure everything lines up accordingly, and then I go back and install each lock extension. That's my way of doing it at the lab. It's been working for me for years, and I thoroughly love it and enjoy it, and it always makes for a seamless install.
That's why they can't get a deal. When you die.
Now we're going to get into the installation process. As you can see, my client already has some length to her natural locks. Before installing the extensions, I trimmed a little bit off her ends. For me, this helps create a cleaner foundation and allows the lock extension to blend more seamlessly into the natural lock. The goal is for everything to look seamless and natural. So for me, cutting off just a tad bit helps to not create balking, and we'll get a little bit more into balking in a minute and what I mean by balking. So let's talk about some crochet techniques. There are several ways to crochet lock extensions. Some stylists prefer attaching, and this is for the attachment process, attaching from the top first, while others start at the center and work around the entire base. And some people even instant lock the natural hair first and leave a little bit of end out and then lock the pre-fluff and then attach the pre-fluff lock extension to the client's head. Me personally, I like to pull the pre-fluffed hair slightly towards a meeting point at the top of the person's natural hair where I intend to attach, and then I crochet. My personal crochet method is the in and out method. Some locticians use like the crochet needle to like weave like you're actually crocheting the hair. I do an in and out method, and for this installation I used a double point 0.5 crochet needle. I personally like the double point needle because it pulls more hair in at one time, but that's a personal choice. I see some locticians use a single point, some even use a triple point. I personally prefer the double point. No matter which technique you use, the goal is always the same, creating a secure attachment that looks natural and that lasts. I think for me, I can really secure the lock extension while maintaining flexibility. And even when I do the in and out method, I always make sure to rotate the lock while I'm taking the crochet needle in and out. I always rotate the attachment point the entire time I'm crocheting. And I don't know if you can physically see it on camera because my hand is over the lock, but I want you to know that I am physically rotating that lock 360 degrees in my hand to secure the attachment point of the client's natural hair to their actual lock extension. And I find that this is extremely important because it makes sure all of the hairs are tightly crocheted for a secure attachment. It also helps reduce bulk. What do I mean bulk at the connection point? Bulk is when there's too much hair at a certain point, so it looks like a big bulging knot at the top instead of it being like a seamless connection. And for me, a lot of times when I do lock extensions, especially if they come pre-fluff, I always pull the pre-fluff section and finger comb it. That way, if any excess hair is there that's not actually connected to the lock extension, you can pull it out. Just pull it out, and that way, what you're connecting is actually attached to the lock extension, because sometimes the pre-fluff sections can have a lot of loose hair, which can contribute to the bulking. So I always pull it and finger comb it first, so if there's any loose hairs, I can get rid of them, and that way it gives a more realistic finished look. One thing I really like about these hot braids extensions is the quality. The texture blends beautifully with the natural locks. They're lightweight and they're easy to work with during the installation. This makes the process smoother for me as a stylist while giving my client a more natural finished look. Let's get into the aftercare. After getting your lock extensions installed, the proper aftercare is extremely important. I always recommend sleeping with a satin bonnet and a satin scarf to protect your locks and your roots and your actual moisture, because making sure your hair is wrapped up keeps the moisture in your hair. Avoid excessive manipulation during the first few weeks. Why? Because people have to understand, even though we're speeding up the process using a lock extension and a crochet needle, your hair still has to go through the natural locking process, meaning your natural hair still has to go through the process of locking to the extension for 100% complete security. A lot of people think, oh, well, I got the crochet needle so they don't fall out. Your hair still has to hold to the lock extension. So please avoid excessive manipulation, and you have to stay on schedule with your maintenance appointments. It is so important. I tell my clients to come every 4 weeks in the beginning, because I want to make sure that everything is secure. And the only way that we can ensure that it's going in the direction that we want is if you're consistent in your maintenance, and I see you every 4 weeks in the beginning. Once I feel that everything is secure, it's holding like it should, a lot of times I'll let my clients stretch it out to 6 weeks, or 4 to 6 weeks, 4 to 7 weeks, And then we get to a point where they can go a little longer once I know that the attachments are secure. Security is the priority. So the less manipulation, the more security.
I pull up like Jimmy Neutron. Looking if you get a move on. Like you haul, and I know you need to go slow, but we could go faster. Let me the password.
One question I get all the time is, are they secure? So I always like to do a quick pull test. As you can see, the extensions are nice and secure. Of course, you don't want to consistently pull on your locks, but this gives my client confidence that they're properly installed and ready for everyday wear. But always make sure that in the beginning, when you get your lock extensions, you're not overly manipulating or putting a lot of tension on your locks. They still have to lock to your natural hair. Now I'm going in with the retwist to blend everything together. This is one of my favorite parts because it really transforms the entire look. A clean retwist helps camouflage where the natural lock meets the extension, giving the appearance that it's always been there. I'm making sure that everything is neat, consistent, and polished before moving on to the final style. What I find is if your retwist is clean, neat, every hair is where it needs to be and where it belongs, it makes for a clean style. When it's not neat, you can almost guarantee that the style isn't gonna be neat either. And I'm also making sure that I firmly secure my retwist with clips. In the video, you can see me using and placing the duckbill clips. I like the duckbill clips because they do provide a lot of security for the retwist, making sure that it properly stays in place so that it doesn't unravel, which makes the retwist look loose. So I love the duckbill clips. And here are the final results. I absolutely love how these turned out. The blend is seamless, the parts are clean, and the locks have such a natural finish. My client wanted added length while keeping the look realistic, and I think at the lab we accomplished exactly that. Huge thank you to Hot Braids for sending me these lock extensions to try. I genuinely enjoyed working with them, and I was really impressed with the quality, texture, and overall finish. My favorite part about the extensions were literally the flexibility and the texture, how soft they were, and just how much they emulated a natural lock. Let me know what you think of the finished results down in the comments. And if you'd like to see more lock extension tutorials, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.